You know that feeling when something inside you just goes quiet? Not angry, not dramatic, just done? It's the moment you stop explaining yourself, the moment you don't send the long reply, the moment you see a name on your phone and feel nothing where there used to be effort. Most people only notice the aftermath, the distance, the silence, the absence. And if you've ever reached that point, you probably know what comes next. You're called cold. You're told you overreacted. You're described as someone who cuts people off too easily. The narrative forms quickly, as if the silence must mean indifference. But what if it didn't come from indifference at all? What if it came from exhaustion? There's a certain kind of person who endures quietly, who gives second chances internally, who minimizes their own discomfort to keep things steady. So when they finally leave, it looks sudden to everyone else. Internally, it was gradual, measured, long in the making. Psychologically, cutting someone off is rarely about one event. It's usually the final stage of accumulated boundary fatigue. When someone repeatedly overrides their own needs to maintain connection, the nervous system keeps score. Even if the conscious mind says it's fine, the body registers the strain. Repeated relational stress activates the brain's threat detection systems. And over time, certain names, conversations, or tones begin to feel subtly unsafe. The shift from engagement to protection happens slowly. And protection doesn't always look like confrontation. Sometimes it looks like disappearing. This isn't necessarily avoidance of intimacy. Often, it's avoidance of depletion. Many people who withdraw learned early that harmony depended on them, that being easy, agreeable, or self-sufficient kept relationships intact. That adaptive self-silencing works for a while until the system can't sustain it. When repair doesn't happen, removal does. The numbness that follows isn't cruelty, it's shutdown, it's relief. There's also a paradox here. The people who cut others off often care deeply. They endure for as long as they do because connection matters to them. The cutoff is rarely impulsive. It's protective finality after private attempts to recalibrate. From the outside, it looks like a slammed door. From the inside, it feels like closing a tab that's been draining battery for too long. The brain is a prediction machine, and when it has gathered enough evidence that a dynamic won't change, it conserves energy. Distance becomes regulation. Silence becomes certainty. But there's a quiet trade-off. You avoid prolonged conflict and messy conversations, yet you also lose the possibility of repair. Relief arrives, but so does reinforcement. The more withdrawal reduces stress, the more automatic it becomes. Neural pathways strengthen with repetition. Safety begins to feel synonymous with solitude. If you see yourself in this, it doesn't mean you're broken or incapable of depth. It means your system found a way to survive strain. There was a time when silence protected you, when self-reliance kept you steady, when leaving felt safer than staying and hoping. That makes sense. And it's possible to hold two truths at once. That cutting people off has protected your peace, and that you might one day want a different kind of protection, one that includes boundaries without disappearance. There's no urgency in that realization. Different people regulate differently. Some fight for connection loudly, some renegotiate quietly, some walk away without a word. Each pattern carries wisdom and cost. If you've been the one who leaves silently, there's likely more tenderness in that decision than people understand. You weren't trying to punish, you were trying to stabilize. And understanding that might be the beginning of seeing yourself with a little less shame and a little more clarity.